why giraffes don't play air hockey. Oh, man. It's funny. All right. So for those... Now this is going to be awkward for anyone who watches it on the internet, too. Okay, so for those of you that weren't here yesterday, what was the advice that you can either choose to use or ignore as far as you sit down, what should you do? What should you do? Follow?
First 3 minutes, look over all the questions.
Look over all the questions, okay? And then after you look over all the questions, what should you do?
The ones that you can definitely answer.
Yeah, pick a few of them that you can definitely answer, and then you might want to pick ones that are kind of okay. And then what? Oh. In
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, you're there. You're being shy.
Oh, I'm not here.
Okay. So, yeah, seriously. So you pick the questions that you like, then what should you do?
Brainstorm any terms, you know?
Yeah, brainstorm some terms or themes that relate to it, and then what's the last thing you do before you start sprinting as academically fast as you can? Yeah, create some a loose structure. It could be just like, what are the main points of your argument? What is your first argument? What are some evidence that you're going to use? What's your second argument? What are you going to use? Okay. It's absolutely essential that you keep in mind that this is timed. Like all of the writing that we did last year was to try and prepare you for time as a factor. You have to write the essays in the time that they give you. You don't get any more time, so you need to make sure that you're being cognizant of how much time you have. Okay. And if you are running short on time, remember what I said last year. They're really looking for ideas. So if you have to scrap English and just write down ideas and bullet point because you only have 10 minutes left, you have an entire essay to write, then go for it, because as long as you're getting the ideas down, that's the majority of what they're grading. Okay? So yesterday we talked about colonization, and today we're talking about movements of independence. So at the top, strategies, remember that in area 1 and 2 especially, a lot of them are going to be comparative. Compare and contrast two movements of independence, the causes of two movements of independence, or the results of two movements of independence, or something along those lines. As far as my class goes, I'm not sure. I think colonization, movements of independence is kind of, I don't know how you feel, but I don't think it's the strongest unit that I teach. But we'll go over it and we'll get you some ideas in case you do have to choose one of these. Okay? So first major topics are causes, political, economic, social, intellectual, religious, and conflicts that led to the war. So causes. When we look at general background of the English colonies, we see that the trend of John Locke, and what was, somebody summarize John Locke, what is he all thinking about? What's key to John Locke? Natural rights, your life, liberty, but the most important one? Property. Okay, property is absolutely essential. Okay, and by property, what is going to become the conflict over property? Governments and property, how do they take away your property? Through taxes. Yeah, taxes. Okay, that's going to be the big issue. And the second is, essentially, John Locke argues that we form groups together to protect our property. That's why we that's why we join societies, okay? Yeah, we all like each other, but I join you so that if my house gets broken into, the police will go find that person and beat them up and throw them in prison. Okay, so we join societies to protect our property. And it's okay if the government takes away our property when? No, yeah, kind of, but when is it okay for them to take it away from us? Take away our money. When we vote, when we say it's okay, when our representatives say that it's okay. So essentially, John Locke says the key to society is property. The key to individuals is life, liberty, and property. All that boils down to property. And taking away property is okay, but you can take it away when I say it's okay, or when the person I vote for, my representative says it's okay. And if there's any break in this, then John Locke, according to real Whigs, say that you have the right to do what? Rebel, revolt. Okay?
F.I. Ward?
Oh, okay. All right. This may lead to revolts. That if they're taking away your property, if they're taking this away and you don't have this, then you have a justified reason for revolt. And this, as the story goes in North America, we see that the impetus for all these problems, the movements of independence, starts with the French and Indian War. And as a result of the French and Indian War, they need, that was supposed to be $1. It didn't work. What's that? Isn't that like Sigma or something?
Yeah.
Does that mean money? No? Okay.
It's not the money.
All right. French and Indian War, Britain needs a lot of money, and so who are they going to ask to pony up and pay for that? The colonists. Okay? Which brought an end to some type of neglect. Salutary neglect. Oh, salutary neglect. Good times. So it brings an end to salutary neglect and reigns in a time period of taxation without representation. We're all going to die. True story. All right. And the best example that's what's a good example of taking property away without representation? The old.
Is it the rebellion? Shade rebellion?
No. Wait, what did you say? Yeah, Stamp Act or Sugar Act or any of those. Stamp Act's probably the easiest and most well-known. Stamp Act, charging us to pay for stuff without representation. Okay? So that's the general story of movements of independence. And if they do, like, kind of some of the themes are, we have Enlightenment ideological roots. So when we're talking about similarities and differences, one similarity between North America, the colonies, is we have an ideological center. The Enlightenment influenced most of Latin American movements of independence, and it certainly influenced out here. Okay? Any questions about this? In Spain, the story is a little bit different because they have a different colonial experience. In Spain, we have tensions between two groups. Which two groups do we see kind of rival factions? Yeah?
Creoles and Peninsulares?
Yeah, Creoles and Peninsulares. We have a history of conflict between these two groups of people. And these problems are what led to this. What from colonization led to these two groups, this social hierarchy, this caste system? Sort of an L. Limpieza de sangre led to this. Limpieza de sangre led to the caste system that existed, and was it equal between these two? No. These people got the good jobs, okay, and these people were perceived as less, even though, just so what's the difference between Creoles and Peninsulares? Somebody raise your hand. Yes?
One was born in Latin American and Peninsulares were born in Spain.
Yeah, Spains were born on the Iberian Peninsula, Creoles were born in the New World. So there's conflict between these two, some tensions, but we're all cool, we're all white, kind of. And then something happens that creates